Let's get more now from Mark Meirowitz. He is a professor at the State University of New York, Maritime College, and foreign policy analyst. He joins us now from New Jersey. Hi there. Thanks for being with us. Let me pick up on kind of this similar question to what I was talking with John there about, many Americans, they really see Dr. Fauci as kind of an antidote, to President Trump. He's a man who sticks with science, even if he's contradicting the president. Do you think those Americans were pleased with his testimony today?
Well, first of all, I would say I might disagree respectfully with John, your representative, in saying that Dr. Fauci is unsackable. I don't think that's true. We've seen that President Trump has sacked, as you say, and fired many, many officials, blaming them for all these problems. And look, Fauci went to the Senate and directly contradicted everything the president has said. And in my opinion, we're at ground zero, we're at zero. We're nowhere now. We're absolutely nowhere in the pandemic crisis. We have no plan. We have the White House itself self-isolating. We have no plan. We're stuck. We're absolutely stuck. We're back to nowhere. So I think that this was a very important, groundbreaking testimony that directly undercuts everything that President Trump has said. Everything. He said, don't open too soon. A vaccine, there needs to be a vaccine. The little spikes can open this up again. All the things that contradict Trump. So I think that this was pivotal, and I think that maybe Fauci's career is in jeopardy as far as heading up this coronavirus thing. I know that seems impossible, but we've heard a lot of impossible things, and many of them have come from the White House, and we are in a state of utter confusion. We don't know what to do. We don't know when to do it. And so this was a pivotal, groundbreaking testimony. And I think Fauci is truly the plain speaker. It reminds me of President Truman. It was called a plain speaker. He says what it is. He tells it like it is. And all Americans have to thank him for standing up at all costs, because that's always been his career, to say what the truth is. And it's very, very important. And it puts the governors, by the way, in a tricky situation. Andrea, I think this is going to push a lot of the responsibility of the governors to keep the people in the various states safe, because we're not getting the direction from the federal government. That clearly was what Fauci was saying. Don't reopen.
Right. I mean, to John's point, though, I do feel that Fauci is as diplomatic as one can be in his difficult role, especially testifying before the Senate and getting those tough questions. He is still playing it diplomatically. He needs to, because, John said he's unsackable, but we did see President Trump retweet the hashtag Fire Fauci. But I want to open up another front with you. It was actually Dr. Robert Redfield of the CDC who said, what we need now actually is a complete rebuilding of our nation's public health infrastructure, as this pandemic has taught us. That is a sensitive area, because that, builds into the plan for universal health care in the United States that Trump so specifically despised coming from Obama. Do you think that call from the CDC will be heard? Will the United States finally start to look harder at its public health infrastructure and investing in it?
Well, first of all, on Obamacare, I would respectfully not agree with you in terms of Trump detesting it, but the truth of the matter is it's never been repealed. The Republicans have tried to repeal it. They were not able to. The Supreme Court case pending to repeal it, but that has to be very procedural. But it's never been repealed. It's still in effect. I think the problem you highlight, and Dr. Redfield highlighted, is pandemic preparedness going forward. What we need is a pandemic preparedness center. I don't know whether we need to start rebuilding anything. We're in an urgent situation. I don't think we have time to rebuild. What we need to do is get ready and get this fixed right now, and then in tandem start to prepare for the next crisis. It looks like from Dr. Fauci, he says this is not going to disappear in the fall or the winter. So we need the vaccine. He said there were 8 vaccines, and I think there were at least 8 in preparation. Accordingly, I think that we're pushing forward, but right now we're sitting in limbo, and we're all confused, and we don't know. He said what he said. I think there will be repercussions, and I don't see how President Trump will not react to what Fauci said. And you said he was diplomatic. I think he's very diplomatic. But on the other hand, he really put a grenade into the whole, to use a figurative thing, he put an explosive point into the whole debate on this COVID-19. He basically blew it up. He said, no, we're doing the wrong thing. We're reopening. Don't open too soon. Institutions, you're putting people's lives at risk. And the 80,000 number, he also, I believe, put into question. So in other words, the numbers, the planning, it's all basically now shot to death. It's finished. What do we do now? We're sitting here and we're just sitting back and wondering, what should we do?
Right.
And who is going to help us to do it? So in other words, I think Trump must react to this, because this is and remember, this is the point, Andrea. We have an election coming in November. This is the key, and this is Trump's thinking, how to get reelected. And Biden is out there. But that's a big challenge to the president. So I think that he has to react to it, because it's put a broadside into his entire approach, which is basically it'll disappear and this and that, and I have total authority, and then we're nowhere. And he has to react to it. And maybe he's going to restructure this whole task force or do something different. But I don't think he can just sit there and not say anything.
We will see what he says post this testimony today. I'm sure he won't be shy about his take on it.
Oh, that's for sure.
Mark Meirowitz, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.